You're watching this because your ambition and laziness are at war, and laziness keeps winning. You want success, but your brain treats effort like an allergic reaction. Here's why. Your reward system's been hacked by instant gratification. Scrolling feels good, and work feels like torture. That's not you being weak, it's your brain being badly programmed. But here's the secret. Laziness isn't your identity, it's a glitch. And like any glitch, it can be patched. My name's Jeff, and I rewired my brain from chronic procrastinator to productivity junkie. Not with willpower, but by exploiting how my brain actually works. I'm going to show you how to do the same using simple science, and your inner sloth won't be able to ignore it. Section 1, the 2% rule. Let's talk about why you haven't started that really scary and daunting task you keep putting off. And just a heads up, it's not because you're lazy, it's because your brain is being overly dramatic. For 300,000 years, your ancestors survived by avoiding hard stuff. Like, why go and hunt a mammoth if some berries are right there, you know? Your brain still operates on that principle. Conserve energy at all costs. The modern twist is that your brain now confuses hard work with actual danger. Write a report? Too risky. Going to the gym? Might die. Scrolling TikTok? Safe. Do that. And it gets worse. Just thinking about hard tasks triggers the same stress response as physical threats. Your prefrontal cortex, or the logical you, wants success, but your lizard brain would rather you sit on the couch eating Cheetos. And guess who usually wins? The second you think about doing that really hard thing, your brain screams, "No! Too big! Too scary!" Like you're about to wrestle a bear. But here's the hack. You don't have to wrestle the bear. You just have to poke it with a stick. Enter the 2% rule. It's stupidly simple. Commit to doing just 2% of any task. Not the whole thing. Not even half. 2%. Writing a book? Open the document and write one sentence. Going to the gym? Just put on your workout clothes. Studying? Read one paragraph. That's it. The reason this works is because your brain hates big commitments, but loves quick wins. When you do that 2%, 3 magical things happen. The first is that this thing called the Zeigarnik effect kicks in. It's where your brain gets obsessed with unfinished tasks, which will subconsciously push you to continue. The second, you build momentum. Starting is 90% of the battle. Once you're in motion, staying in motion is easy. And thirdly, your brain stops resisting. It realizes the task isn't life-threatening, just life-improving. I used this to write my first book. For weeks, I stared at a blank page thinking, I need to write 50,000 words. Then I tried the 2% rule. Just write one sentence. That sentence became a paragraph, then a page, then a chapter. Within months, the book was done. The hardest part wasn't the writing, it was convincing my brain to start. There is a catch though. The 2% rule only works if you honor it. If you do your 2% and still feel like quitting, then quit. And do it with absolutely no guilt whatsoever. This builds trust with your brain, and over time, you'll find yourself doing 3%, then 10%, then 50% without even realizing it. That's how you turn procrastination into progress, one tiny poke at a time. Now that we've tricked your brain into starting, we need to talk about why you keep stalling after that first push. Section 2, the domino effect. And you know exactly what I mean. You'll finally open that document, then stare at it like it's written in hieroglyphics. Or you'll put on your workout clothes, only to take them off and order pizza. We know that starting is hard, but sustaining action, that's where most people faceplant. You get that initial burst, then reality hits. Oh right, I actually have to do this thing. And just like that, your motivation evaporates faster than my willpower at an all-you-can-eat buffet. The reason for this is that your brain has a dirty little habit. It judges entire tasks by how the first step feels. That first difficult paragraph, your brain assumes the whole book will feel that way. Those brutal first 5 minutes on the treadmill, suddenly running a marathon seems impossible. This is called the peak end rule. We remember experiences based on their most intense point and how they finish. Your brain takes those painful opening moments and projects them across the entire task. It's like judging a movie by its opening credits, then walking out of the cinema. Thankfully, there's an easy way to hack this too, and it's by treating productivity like dominoes. You don't focus on knocking over the whole chain, you just focus on tipping that first one. Then physics and brain chemistry takes care of the rest. By doing this, you reduce friction. It makes the next action stupidly easy. You also leverage momentum, like we discussed a second ago. Each small action makes the next one 50% easier. And finally, you hijack your own autopilot mode. What I mean by that is that you're able to chain actions together until they become automatic. And as an example, instead of just saying to yourself, go to the gym, structure it this way. Put on your gym clothes, fill your water bottle, walk out the door. By the time you're outside, going to the gym won't be a decision anymore. It's just what comes next. The magic happens when you stop thinking about the 50th domino and just focus on pushing over number 2. Your brain can't panic about what it isn't focusing on. And a pro tip for you as well, the simpler the domino, the better. If your next step requires willpower, you've made it too hard. Let me know what domino chain you're working on down in the comments. And while you're there, give the video a sneaky like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It doesn't go unnoticed and I really appreciate it. The thing is, taking the initial step and getting the second domino to fall is all well and good, but if you can't do the next thing, none of it matters whatsoever. Section 3, the reward rebellion. Because the brutal truth is that your brain has been trained like a lab rat. Press the lever, scroll Instagram, get a treat, dopamine. Press the lever, watch Netflix, get a treat, more dopamine. Work on your goals. It's no wonder you're stuck on a loop of laziness. Your brain's reward system is rigged against you. You know you should work on your goals, but your brain keeps whispering, or we could just watch one more episode. And let's be honest, that episode turns into a season, and suddenly it's 2 a.m. and you're elbows deep in a bag of chips wondering where your life went wrong. Your brain is a junkie for instant gratification. It doesn't care about long-term rewards. It wants that dopamine, and it wants it now. The thing is, every time you give in, you reinforce the addiction. Scrolling feels good because you've trained your brain to expect a reward for zero effort. And to make things even worse, your brain has a sneaky trick called reward prediction error. It constantly compares what you expect to feel with what you actually feel. When you scroll, the dopamine hit matches the expectation. But when you work, your brain expects a bigger reward than it's getting, so it logs effort as a loss. That's why motivation evaporates. Your brain thinks productivity is a scam. So it's time to flip the script. Instead of letting your brain reward laziness, we're going to lock rewards behind work. And it's not about willpower, it's about outsmarting yourself. What I want you to do first is define the work. Do you need to write 500 words? Walk 1 kilometer? Do your taxes? Whatever it is, write it down. Next, I want you to define the reward. For example, 15 minutes of guilt-free TikTok, or one quick YouTube video from your favorite stick figure, tomato tomato. And finally, set the rule. No reward until the work is done, period. The key? Make the reward certain but conditional. Your brain needs to know, if I do X, I will get Y. This taps into the same dopamine chase that makes scrolling addictive, but now effort becomes the lever. I used this to finish my last project. My rule, no coffee, aka my kryptonite, until I'd written for 1 hour. Suddenly, my brain treated writing like the gateway to dopamine, not the obstacle. Within weeks, I'd conditioned myself to crave work. I do have to give you a warning with this strategy though. It only works if you're ruthless. No, just one video to get inspired. That's like giving a gambler just one chip. It's never gonna end well. So, be disciplined with it. Your future self will thank you. So far, we've been peeling back the layers of an onion. They're extremely important, but they're completely meaningless if the core is rotten. Section 4, Identity Hacking. And when I'm talking about the core, I'm talking about your identity. You're not just lazy, that's a story you've been telling yourself, and your brain believes it. The scary part is that the more you say I'm lazy, the lazier you become. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's time to burn it to the ground. Every time you say this nonsense to yourself, your brain logs it as evidence. And just like that, your identity solidifies into someone who doesn't do hard things. The thing is, your brain is a relentless detective, constantly gathering proof of whatever story you feed it. This is called identity reinforcement, and it's why fake it till you make it isn't just motivational fluff, it's neuroscience. When you act like the person you want to be, your brain scrambles to align your self-image with your behavior. The catch? Most people wait until they feel like that person to act. Big mistake. Action precedes identity, not the other way around. Thankfully, I've got a solution for you. It's called the as-if principle, and it's really easy to follow. Step 1. Pick the identity that you want. For example, I'm someone who exercises every day. Step 2. Act as if it's already true. For example, do 5 push-ups every morning the moment you roll out of bed. And finally, step 3. Let your brain rationalize this behavior. It'll say something like, I guess we do technically exercise every day. I used this to become a runner. At first, I hated running, but I started small. I'm someone who puts on running shoes every morning. No pressure to run, just shoes. Within weeks, my brain went, wait, we keep doing this. Maybe we are a runner. Now, I run 5Ks like it's nothing. The trick is to focus on actions, not outcomes. Don't say, I'm a best-selling author. Your brain will laugh. Say, I'm someone who writes 100 words daily. Tiny proofs add up until your identity shifts without you even noticing. And this may sound too good to be true. You might be thinking that your brain will resist, that it'll whisper, this is fake. And you'd be right, it will do that. I've got 2 words for you though. Ignore it. Lie to yourself until the lie becomes the truth. If you're consistent enough, over time, the delusion will become your reality, which is, in essence, the strategy. Conclusion. Let's be real. You didn't watch this video to feel good. You watched it to change. And here's the brutal truth. Every minute you spend not applying these hacks, your brain gets better at being lazy. So here's your ultimatum. Keep calling yourself lazy and watch opportunities evaporate, or use the 2% rule today, stack dominoes tomorrow, lock rewards behind work, and lie to yourself until the lie becomes the truth. This isn't about motivation. This is about rewiring. The Jeff who procrastinated everything? He's still in my head too, but now he works for me, not against me. That's the power of hacking your brain. I got one final challenge for you as well. The next time your brain says, I'll start tomorrow, laugh in its face. Tomorrow is a fantasy. Today is the only day that exists. Now get to work.